Okay, everybody. My name is Aaron Eiler. I am with Fleetistics, and today I'm with Phil Mirasola, who is with Coast Visa. And Coast provides a purchasing card where in the fleet business we used to have fuel cards, right? Like Wex card or some other type of fuel card where the company could oversee and manage the fuel purchases or purchases at a convenience store. But what you guys did is you took that one step further and you said, hey, let's just get this a card to people where they can buy anything, right?
Yeah.
Basically, anywhere Visa is accepted, right? And what are some of the advantages of being able to do that versus like a fuel card?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Aaron. And yeah, that's exactly right. Right. Coast is one of the new entrants into the fleet and fuel card market. We've been in market for a few years now. And we're competing with the likes of Wex and FleetCor and some of the major fuel card brands that people are familiar with. And we built our program on Visa's network, which has a lot of advantages in comparison to some of the existing programs out there. First, what we do and what we believe are, is one of the best fuel card solutions on the market. At its core, right, we can set up the program so it's just fuel only at gas stations and truck stops, and it can be locked down with a very refined set of controls where the business and the admin who are managing the program can feel comfortable giving this card to employees, knowing exactly when and how much they are spending on it. First and foremost, we are a fuel card. We think we do that as good, if not better, than anyone else in the market. But what you were kind of alluding to, and as we've been going on this journey, is we've realized that there are other expenses, on the job expenses associated with many businesses that are operating a commercial fleet of vehicles. And with that, right, there are some specific pain points that have gone on previously as to how these expenses were paid for. And in a second here, we'll jump into the dashboard and we'll show you the platform. But what we have gone ahead and done is we've taken different forms of payment, whether these expenses, these on the job expenses, going to Home Depot, going to hardware stores, purchasing maintenance on your vehicle, was done on a different card program. We've rolled that all into the fuel card. The fleet card is what we call it. So we've built a very sleek platform, right, where you can effectively manage all of these expenses and all of these payments in one place and put really, really strict controls on your employees and how they can and cannot spend.
Right. And we've actually rolled over to this program internally as well. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, all right, this is pretty slick stuff. Because we've had a fuel card in the past, and then we have to issue credit cards for other things where, this is really one card that covers all of that. So your administration becomes that much easier. But I think what really attracted me to the platform was this ability to apply rules and apply rules to groups, and then in business there's always exceptions, and you guys have a really nice way of handling exceptions. If somebody's out in the field and let's say they bump up against their credit limit, there's a process for making an exception to that, or perhaps making an exception to a fuel type that they need to purchase for whatever particular reason. Those things are there so people can continue to do business. They don't have to stop, wait until Monday, or pick up the phone and try to run somebody down to get a change order in or get permission to use their personal card because they couldn't do something. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff that just makes business easier to do on the Coast card from personal experience, right? So why don't you show us some of that type of stuff? Let's focus in on like the top three things that customers ask you about or say, hey, those are really great features. Let's hit on those, and then if people want to learn more, then we'll set up a call and create a situation where you can do a deep dive into it and really look at all the features and functionality and answer all the questions.
Fantastic. Great. I will go ahead and share my screen. Aaron, can you please give me access to screen sharing here? I'm going to give all our viewers a quick preview of what the Coast portal looks like. Right, this is where our admins or whoever is managing the program is going to interact with us. This is how they set up the card program and basically control the policies and the spending by employees. Let me know if you can see my screen here, Aaron.
Yes, yes, I can see it.
Fantastic. So this is the Coast dashboard. This is what our customers are interacting with. This is how they're setting up the program, and how they're kind of, getting an understanding of where and when the spend is happening. What I really want to show here, for this purpose, is our policies. And again, our policies are set up as essentially the rules of the road, right? How and when are my employees able to use their fuel or fleet card, right? What does their spend limits look like to ensure I know to the last dollar what every single employee within my business is able to spend on? So we set up policies per types of employee, right? So you would create a policy essentially for, your 9 to 5 employees, right? These are, my employees that are in the field, they're on the job, the ones that are sitting in our vehicles every single day, right? What does that employee look like for that type of person? And again, right, what Coast really prides ourselves on, and what we think we do really well, is the controls and the visibility, right? A common thing we hear from our customers pretty frequently is, when there's misuse or abuse of the card, it's almost impossible to find. And there are ways to skate around the system, right? Where, people will take or spend on their fuel card when they shouldn't be previously. Or, instances of first party or third party fraud that they run into that they are not protected against. So again, I'm going to go very high level here. The purpose of this is kind of give, folks an introduction to what we do. And it would be great to set up time with folks to dive really into, the use case, how they're paying for fuel today, how they're paying for other on the job expenses, where we can go in through all of the details of the platform, and give people a full walkthrough.
Let me say that there's two things that really kind of caught my ear when we first looked at Coast. And one of those is the fact that we can have spare cards sitting on our desk, right? I know with other major fuel companies that we've used in the past, every time that we needed a card, it was like a 2-week process to contact somebody, go through this setup process, and then a card gets mailed out, and we got to potentially mail it out to some, like an employee who may not be at the office location. So being able to take a spare out of your desk drawer and add it to the portal online and hand it to somebody, and away they go is a pretty big convenience.
Exactly. So the cards are fully interchangeable, as you're kind of mentioning here. And the beauty about the Coast program and what people like is they spend way less time managing this, right? And spending the hour you just mentioned talking through customer service, trying to get a card canceled, trying to get one reissued, can be really, really time consuming, and is just further downtime for the operation, and can lead to pretty wonky data. But again,
the changes that you make in the portal are also instant. So like you can kill a card, deactivate a card instantly. You don't have to call anybody if a card gets stolen. You can make changes to the spending hours, and those changes are applied instantly. Right? It's not where there's any kind of delay in that process, correct?
Fantastic. Exactly. Right. So everything is happening in real time. If I make updates to an employee's policy, that will take effect immediately. Where if they're on in the job, if they're at the pump, they're using it outside of the policy that you set, you can make those changes to take effect immediately. Okay. But here, right, these controls, these are restrictions, these are how we're, determining when and where the card can be used, but also giving, kind of flags or alerts to the owner, the manager, the admin team as to suspicious sort of transactions, right? When, we talk to a lot of our customers, what they, say to us commonly is finding, suspicious transactions or things that look amiss. In their previous program was like finding a needle in the haystack. They're combing through line item details, looking for things that look out of whack. And we're going to bring that to the forefront for you. Again, here it's all about saving you time and money, right? And the biggest way to save you money with a fuel card is to find out where theft or misuse is taking place.
It goes along with Geotab's philosophy of management by exception. You don't want to look at every bit of data. You want to find out what the anomalies are based on what you've configured in the system as an anomaly, and then get the right information at the right time in the right format.
Fantastic. All right. And so again, we integrate directly with Geotab. We're pulling through the GPS location of your vehicles every second, to the point where if the vehicle is not near the pump at the time of the fill up, we will decline that transaction for you, right? Let's say the employee knows that, right, he gets one swipe per day on his fuel card. He's not in the office that day. He takes his personal truck, right, to the gas station. He tries to fill that up. We won't allow that. We can flag for wrong fuel type, right? We can flag if the purchase exceeds the tank capacity. All things you want to be notified of, maybe an employee is abusing the program that you're currently on. And then kind of what we were talking about previously, because we are on Visa's network, we have acceptance wherever Visa works, right? Which gives us the ability to put non-fuel purchasing on this card program, right? So at its core, what you will see is the ability to limit transactions by number of purchases daily, weekly, or monthly, right? So for the fuel card in particular, let's say I know this employee should never be filling up more than once a day, and he should never be putting in more than $200 worth of gas per week, right? And you could make that any number you want. Let's call it, 500. So now this employee's policy, if he goes to the gas station, he will never be able to swipe that card more than once a day. It'll decline. And if he ever tries to put more than $500 on that card for fuel, it will decline as well.
Okay.
And then what you will also see is those same controls for all of these other merchant categories. We have every merchant category you could think of, and you can toggle these on and off depending on what you need your employees to be spending on. So let's say I know my on-the-job employees, it's almost a guarantee that one time a month they're going to end up at Home Depot. I want them to have a card that works at Home Depot, but I never want them to abuse that purchase, that ability, right? So this employee will never be able to spend more than $250 per month at Home Depot, but he does have a card now that works at Home Depot, right? So,
and without getting into the nitty gritty, but if an exception needs to be made, the employee can actually request an exception and have one made on the fly, correct?
Precisely. So this is a pretty unique feature to Coast that you're not going to see with many other fuel card programs on the market. We have this policy exceptions feature, right? So if this is turned on the policy and this employee tries to spend outside of policies, right? So let's say he picks up a weekend shift. He is only allowed to spend on his card Monday through Friday, but it's busy season. He's working a Saturday job. He goes to the gas station that morning to fill up. This card is going to decline because this employee cannot spend on Saturdays. But when that happens, it'll say, hey, Aaron, it looks like you just tried to spend outside of your policy. Would you like to ask your manager for an exception? This is a text message that he will receive on his cell phone. He just needs to reply yes. His manager will then get a text message that says, hey, looks like Aaron just tried to spend $25 at Sunoco. Would you like to approve this exception? And then in real time, if he responds yes, the employee will get one more text message letting them know to re-swipe the card because the transaction has been approved.
Mhm.
So again, this real-time monitoring that allows people to be in control of this. They don't need to jump in front of their computer, right? They don't need to call customer service. Hey, my guy is stuck at the pump. What do we do? He needs to fill up, right? All of these issues that they've previously ran into are eliminated with a few simple text messages, right? And giving that time back.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, that's great, Phil. That I think gives any viewer enough to understand that this is different than what they've probably seen with just their typical straight fuel card. So let's wrap it up so we can keep it short and keep people
Yeah.
interested and get the attention. And if you're interested in this, whether you're a Fleetistics GPS and telematics customer or not, and you're just interested in the Coast card and program and savings, then click the link in the comment section below or the description below, or scan the QR code that we're going to lay over this video, and we will facilitate getting you guys together and making it happen, and helping you see the benefits that I saw very quickly the first time I saw the Coast program. So Phil, thank you very much. Any final comments or anything that you want to pass along?
No, just say, and Fleetistics, because we think there's a lot of synergies here. We're also offering a special discount to customers that come through Fleetistics. So yeah, we're excited to talk to folks. We think we have a really good offering here. We can help you save time and money. And we'd be happy to kind of walk you through all of the ins and outs. There's a ton of features that we haven't discussed today
Yeah.
that's super, super valuable, and kind of fall in line with our motto of giving you this sort of ability to go back to doing what you do, which is managing your business effectively, closing new business, right, and not having to worry about the fuel card.
Well, super, Phil. Thank you very much for your time and your insight. We look forward to putting the Coast program in front of businesses, fleet operators, and just any company. So thank you very much, and have a great day.
Take care. Thank
You
you so
too.
much.
Bye-bye.